There we go. Well, that's a very it's a rough intro this week. But thank you all for joining us. Welcome to Let's Talk with Gales and Dean. I'm your host, Gales, as usual, and to my left, providing much needed comedic relief as usual. Go ahead and tell them, Dean. I'll let you do it.
Hey man, you know who it is, man. It's your boy, the insane Mr. Dean. It's gonna be hard to be funny this week, but gotta do it because in light of what happened, man, we gotta bring joy to a lot of people. As y'all seen the clip, we lost a good brother, a good homeboy, athlete, you name it, man. We lost a good one this week. Mr. Fred Sparkman. Man, I'm still at a loss of words. You know, I'm really still at a loss of words. This one hurt. This one hurt a lot because you hear about stuff like this all the time, but it ain't never no one close to you.
Right.
And man, when I found out, I was at the gym, and my sister kept calling my phone, but I didn't have my headphones connected to my phone, and I was actually talking to somebody, but the phone kept blowing up, you know. So I'm like, first thing, my instinct, like something happened to my mother, you know, for my sister just to keep calling like that. And I called her back, and she told me what had happened. And my first reaction, like, "Nah, you lying, you know, I don't believe it." And she like, "No, I'm being for real." And man, I'm telling you, you ever heard like it took the wind out the building? It took the wind out of me, man. Just I'm gonna go into some of my remembrance of Fred, man. I'm gonna tell you, this dude, and you know yourself, Mr. Gill, we played a lot of football.
Oh, yeah.
I was teammates with him with the Murray County Bulldog. I'll let you know how long ago that was, 11, 12-year-old. And he was wreaking havoc then on the field as just a defensive end and a fullback. You know, fullback didn't even carry the ball that much at that time, but when he got the ball, you knew what it was, and when he hit somebody, you knew what it was. On to middle school became a rival because he played it with and I played the EA Cox. Me and you both did, and from that, it's just from the moments on, you knew this guy was going to be something great. You knew this guy was going to be something great, man. On into high school, and for me, he got to be the greatest football player I ever played against, and I'm not just talking about athletic wise. His attention to detail to the game. His instincts, his smarts, the way he played the game, never missed a day in the weight room, played at 100 miles an hour every down, never let up on a down. Even when you thought you had him down and hurt, he still found a way to make a play. I remember this very well. The night we played Columbia, our junior year, in front of 4,000 people, the biggest game probably in Spring Hill history. I'm not going to say Columbia history because they went on the playoffs and stuff, so they had big crowds. But for us, that was 4,000 people. And Jason got up to the line and made 4 audible calls. And Fred pointed every hole that the ball was going to go to. You know, and I'm sitting there like, dude know where the ball going. I mean, we made 4 audible calls, and he knew where it went. And lo and behold, we ran the one, and he was the first one in the hole to meet it. I played cornerback, and he broke through the line. He broke through the line one time that game, and I'm like, well, here it is, you know. And even though me and him was cool, he still brung it. You know, that was just him. But I very well remember after that game, they beat us 27-26. We met at the middle of the field, and it was all love. He was like, bro, you're a real deal football player. And I said, you're even better. I said, there's a reason why you one of the top players in the nation. And it showed that night. And I told him that. I looked at him, I said, there's a reason why you one of the top players in the nation. Not only on the just football field, he was good on the basketball court. Man, this dude was good on the basketball court. I mean, this dude was just unreal athlete in track and field. He was in the 4x1 relay with us. And you talk about a guy 6'2", 6'3", 240 pounds, and he was almost won. You know, he was right there with all the speedsters. So even better person off the field. If you knew Fred, that was the guy that you knew that you wanted to be his homeboy, because Fred was a big guy. You just didn't want to be on his bad side. You wanted to be on his good side. And if you was on his good side, he had your back, you know, and everything. Columbia's hurt right now. The town is hurt. A lot of people hurt. but we're gonna long live his name, man. I love you, my brother. We're gonna miss you. Even though I did not play for Columbia Central, Mr. Gales didn't either. We grew up together. So it touched me and it hurts. But we're gonna live your name on, my brother. Long live Fred. Hashtag number 30.
Absolutely, man. Hashtag number 30. So what we have going on here is we're using a little bit of new technology. If you have any comments, we would like to invite you to come on and speak. Your personal experiences, either with Fred, and it doesn't have to be about Fred because everything is still really raw right now, you know? And that's something that we want to keep that in mind because the friend, close personal friends and family, they are. I couldn't even imagine. I don't even have the words to say. It's one of the reasons why we have a couple of guests coming on here shortly. But yeah, so there's a link there. Click and join us and join in the conversation. We ask that you keep it 30 seconds to a minute. Try to get as many people in as possible and really take advantage of the time that we have here. Now, I'll try to be short, but Fred Sparkman was so many things, right? Everyone knows the terror he was on the field and the basketball court. But some of my most fond memories of Fred is I remember us being in, we put that quote up in the beginning of the show. But I remember us watching, it was his senior year, my junior year. I was getting ready to go to Vanderbilt University. He was on his way to North Carolina. And we were sitting there, and first of all, he was picking on me. We were just laughing, cutting it up. And the kid comes out of nowhere. It's like, Jeremy Gills, oh my goodness, Fred Sparkman, can we have your autograph? And we were like, what? Like, I was shocked. I was like, I understand Fred, but me? And he looked at me like, what? That right there tells you everything you need to know about him, man. A lot of people, if you were fortunate to get a smile out of Fred, and it just warmed you. And I think that is what we definitely need to include when we're talking about all the athletic accolades, right? But today, which we'll go ahead into our title, because today we really want to hit this on the head, and really try to define some things, express some things, and really have a good, decent conversation as to what do we, the living, do moving forward? What can we do, if anything? And I don't want anybody beating themselves up and thinking, man, I should have called. Man, I should have XYZ. That's not what this is about, okay? But the people that are in our lives, in your lives right now, have you checked on them today? Have you called them today? Encouragement, that's what we're trying to do here. So we titled this one, today's episode as Mental and Health, okay? What is it tough? So we will have, throughout the show, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. There's the number there, 800-273-8255. If you don't feel like you can talk to a significant other, your dog, your parent, your anything, anybody. If you don't, there's a huge stigma, especially in our community, Mr. Dean, about seeking professional help.
You're right, man.
That's something we got to work on. But if you can't do any of that, at least call this number and get pointed in the right direction. And I think with that, we're going to bring her on first, Mrs. Megan Reese. How you doing, Miss Reese?
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
How you doing, Miss Reese? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely. And so go ahead, give us a little bit about yourself, and so people know who they're talking to.
I grew up in Columbia, Spring Hill with you, not there now, but see that my hometown is hurting. I see my friends hurting. I am a clinical psychologist, so I have my doctorate in clinical psychology. My master's is in forensic psychology. Right now, I work in the correctional institutions. Primarily, that's where I've been working with juveniles and adults, reintegrating into the community, but also have experience with community mental health and working in hospitals as well. So anything that I can do to support the people in my hometown who are hurting right now is why I'm here today.
And thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Tanner's in the back there. We'll get to you in a minute, big guy. We'll bring on our other special guest, Mr. Edwin Youngblood. How are you, sir?
Doing great. How you guys doing today?
Well, thanks for
Mr.
asking.
Eddie Mo, what's going on, my guy?
What's up, man? I can yeah, as soon as you text me, bro, and asked me to be on, I've said absolutely honored to do so. Like Miss Megan said, it's definitely a tough week, especially for those that know Fred and on that inner circle. But I love what you said, man, that it's raw right now. And at the same time, man, we can really just take our time and process that and don't try to feel like anybody has to be in a rush to kind of have everything figured out, man. So I thank you, Dean and Gales, for putting me on and for all that you guys do, man. You guys are really making an impact and talking about real things, and it's a blessing to the community for sure.
We appreciate that, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
And from one teammate to another, our first comment in history. Because me and Dean, we announced Monday that we were moving the show to Saturday because of our crazy schedules. This might have been about the third or fourth time, Mr. Dean, we had to move the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what ends up happening here is that, the tragedy strikes. And so everything that we kind of talk about throughout the week that we want to talk about on the show, we just kind of threw all that out. There's a lot of Olympic stuff going on. There's a lot of controversy stuff. I mean, it's a bunch. But this is just something, this is a conversation that just has to start happening over and over. And we'll go ahead and clear the floor for another teammate, Mr. Brian Tanner of the No Cap Podcast. How you doing, Mr. Tanner?
Doing good. Doing good. How y'all doing today?
Well, thanks for asking. Brought you on because you look like you have something to share.
Yeah, man. Personally, I didn't know Fred like that, like some of you guys did, but the guy was a legend, man. He was a legend in the city, man. And I feel for family and friends, man, that unfortunate situation, man. I pray for everybody that's going through it right now, man. I really do, man. It's just unfortunate, man. We losing too many of us so young, man, and it's rough, man. We got to take care of our loved ones, take care of our friends, make sure we always check up on our friends, man, even if it's just, hey, man, just see how you doing, man. It's something small, can go a long ways, man, for a long time, just for somebody's day, no matter what it is.
Absolutely.
You're right.
Well, so we have, we got the pastor here. We have clinical psychologist, Ms. Megan Reese here. What is one thing you think we can do moving forward? Because I don't think this is a thing that's really, what do you call it? Preventable, right? And I think I want to go to Ms. Reese on this. What's one thing, or I guess let's go back to Brian. What's one question that you would have for her and her expertise? And then we get a spiritual look at it from Pastor Youngblood.
Well, mental health thing is something that I say, for one, just in my personal opinion, in the Black community, that it's not one of those things that we want to talk about. It's not one of those things that when we were brought up, that was shared to us by our parents and counselors and whatnot. It was one of those things that we were always told that we just need to be tough, just fight through it, just push through it. And a lot of us suffer through it every day. Personally, I suffer through it every single day. There's a lot of things that happened in my childhood that I still fight with today. There's friends that I've lost that I still feel in some ways guilt that I wasn't there to do more, grandparents and everything. And I mean, a lot of us go through that every single day, and we don't necessarily have that person that we can talk to about. And we all need that at the end of the day. Everybody needs that person that we can get it out to. And a lot of us, not all of us have it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So,
I second that, Brian, man. Like you said, man, growing up in the Black community, man, I think a lot of us have dealt with stuff, and you just told to be tough, man. And then, the thing is, like, some of us might go through some things that you don't want to talk to people about because people are so judgmental and will try to, like, make fun of you or be like, what you dealing with that? Like, it's been things that I talked to Mr. Gales about. I mean, nobody knows but him. Because I believe he'll keep it with us, and it's like he like my therapist. I go to him and rant and rave on a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I know everybody. Yeah, I know everybody sees. You see the happy, crazy Sid. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't always the case, man. People go through stuff. So like you said, man, got to check up on your people, man. And if if you're going through anything mental, anything, don't be scared to talk about it, because that's the only way we can help each other. So I second what you said, my brother.
So I want to kick it to Miss Reese.
I mean,
what
I
are
just
your
think it's
thoughts
like,
on that?
rightfully so, that there's a distrust of mental health, especially in the Black community, just how historically all doctors have treated your community. But then if you think like in the South also, there tends to be that like we don't air our dirty laundry, we keep that to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of what we're taught as society, people say, how are you doing? And the correct response is fine. How are you? And you move on about your business, and you don't actually talk to listen. And I think like that's the biggest thing that we need is people who I recently in a meeting, we check in every week. And I told them, I was like, you know what? This is the worst week I've had at this job since I've been here in the last 2 years. And no one knew what to say. And the look on their face was like, oh no, you're just supposed to say like, things are good. There's nothing you can help me with. And we're moving on to the next person.
Right.
And that's working with professionals who talk about this stuff all the time. So I hear you saying like reach out to people and talk to them, and I think that's absolutely true. And I think like having that real conversation though, don't just reach out and say fine if you think they're not fine. If you see that they're withdrawing, they're not hanging out as much, they're not working out, like actually listen and let them know you're concerned. Our brains lie to us. Their job is to keep us alive, it's not to keep us healthy. And depression is a liar. Like everything it tells you makes you feel better. You have no energy, so you should stay in bed. Actually, that makes you feel worse. No one is going to understand, and your brain literally starts filtering out positive stimuli. So you need other people to remind you of that positive stimuli, because your brain doesn't see it even when it's right in front of you. So that kind of reaching out, I think, goes a long way. And the more that you model that you can talk about things when they're not okay, like then other people feel like they can talk to you when things aren't okay.
Absolutely. Pastor Youngblood?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. One thing is coming from more of a, I guess, a spiritual perspective, is many times, even in the church, we're quick to just say, pray, I'm gonna pray about it, or Jesus can heal that. And he does, and he will. But at the same time, if we had a broken leg, we don't, just sit there and just pray. We'll go to the doctor and try to get those things fixed and checked out.
Right.
Sometimes coming from a church perspective, we can many times not be as educated, or not take those measures of saying you can have a pastor and you can have a therapist, and you can have a pastor and you can have a counselor. And I think it's important for us to not just say, man, it's an either or type of deal, but it's a both and. For ministers and for leaders and spiritual leaders to really come alongside and to even grow in that area of saying that isolation is never the answer. It's like God did not create us to be isolated. He created us for community. You look at Father, Son, Holy Spirit, they're in community together, and that was modeled. So it's so important. And sometimes I think that we can have almost this facade of community when it comes to social media. I have so many likes, or I have, a little bit of interaction, but that can be very fabricated. God has called us to really be in a tight-knit community with each other, and also to, we need to be a people that help promote this minority, or not necessarily minority, but Black and Hispanic and just people in these spheres to excel when it comes to psychology, when it comes to sociology and all of these things. Sometimes we don't, man, I don't know if I know a Black psychiatrist, and we need to promote those people in those areas so that it becomes more of so we can create more safe spaces for us to have these conversations, so that we, are not just going through a cycle. That's what the enemy wants us to go in, these cycles of saying, man, yeah, it happened, but to really come back and try to offer solutions that's practical and spiritual, you know?
Mhm.
Absolutely. So we're all here together. Now, my question, because while we have you here, Mr. No Cap Podcast, right? How often do you think it happens where you think it sounds like something really small, but how, in your experience, how often, I guess, how do I want to say this? How often do people ask you, like, hey, man, you good? And you think, like, yeah, I'm good. And that was actually enough. It was like, man, I don't know what they were feeling off me. I don't know what my energy was like. But them just asking me, am I good? Really did something for me, showing their appreciation. Does that ever happen to you?
Absolutely. It's happened to me a lot. Edwin used to be one of those people like that all the time. Edwin could tell my demeanor when I came in the locker room. Edwin could tell my demeanor when I came in the hallways, and Dean could too. I was always in the sense of energetic, and I'm eccentric in certain ways, and they always could tell. They could look at my face. My mom to this day, and I can answer the phone and just say hello, and she'd be like, "Okay, what's wrong? I know something wrong with you. Will you go ahead and get it out?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm good." My wife does me the same way. She knows it could be a simple word in the text, and she already knows something's wrong with you. Go ahead and spit it out. Get it out the way now. But I mean, it happens every day, and for us in our community, in our culture, and everything, we have dismissed it so much of just saying, we're gonna be all right. We'll tough it out, instead of when that person is really, really, truly asking you, like, what's wrong, man? Let me know. Talk to me. Get it out. Even if you just need to vent for 5 minutes, man, get it out. We just push away from it and we just fall back. And I've done it for years. I mean, I've seen therapists myself, and I mean, probably, and it's something I need to continue throughout the future. And I think everybody, especially in our community, in our culture, everybody needs to talk to somebody. Whether or not it's your parents, the pastor, or just someone from the outside that doesn't know you at all. So everybody, I think, needs to talk to somebody.
I to what you said, people could see it in your demeanor. It's been times where we're gonna come live, Mr. Gill be like, "Hey, Dean, man, you all right?" Because like he know me, man. Like just like y'all two, man. We've been knowing each other since early teens. Well, I mean, early teen. I'm talking about 14, 15-year-olds. So we all in our 30s, like pushing 40. Yeah. Me and Gales, I'm not saying me, you, and Mr. Youngblood, we all tight. Me and Gales is the tight. So he can feel that energy off of me, like quick. And I try to hide it with smiles and stuff. He'd be like, "Hey, man, look." He'd be like, "Hey, man, look here. Take a minute. Go get you a sip of water. Go get you a bite to eat. Call me back in 5 minutes."
You know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll do stuff like that. And then, I do it and come back. He'd be like, "You feel better, man?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "All right, man, let's get this show on the road." So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
At a lot of time, what I say, like, he my therapist, man. I talk to him about a lot of stuff. Just like my cousin Untamed Fitness, Courtney English, same way. He'll call me up when he's dealing with something. He said, "Man, I just call you to get a laugh when I'm dealing with something, because I'm gonna make him laugh." And that do make you feel good. Like, all right, man, out of all the people you can talk to, you call me to get a laugh, even though we cousins. You can call it. We got a big family. You can call any cousin to do that, and just to know you made somebody day. You don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
Even Mr. Gale doing that to me, man, it'd be funny because how he talk. You know what I'm saying? He'd be serious, but hey, man, just go get you a sip of water. Like he don't say go get you a shot of liquor or beer. Hey, go get you a drink of water, grab a bite to eat, call me back in 5 minutes. And then he'll hang up the phone. He won't even say bye nothing. He just hang up. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't got no choice.
You ain't got no choice.
That go get some water.
Yeah, that right there, man, that made me I'm like, all right, man. And it make me feel good. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, man, all of us, even though, Megan not here, she was a classmate, man, we just gotta continue, man, to just check on each other, man. 10 minutes, the talk time could be a life-changing situation for someone, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which I want to go to Miss Reese there, because I keep finding this number. First of all, the number was startling, and tell me if you find the same thing as far as statistically. Every minute, 11 people are committing suicide. Does that sound about right to you? I mean, the numbers.
I mean, I wouldn't quote it, but yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Right. And then this idea. So I have two girls, 12. She's about to be seventh grader, or is a seventh grader. Good Lord. And 16-year-old who's a junior in high school. And I'm just, when this happened, I do what I do, which is I immediately start doing deep dives and researching and falling down rabbit holes. And one of the things that I found were that, of course, men are more successful when it comes to this, but it's attempted more by women. And I guess it's gotten worse with the advent of social media. So what are we doing wrong, I guess? And then what are some possible coping mechanisms?
Well, I mean, I think what you guys talked about is one of the first things that we do wrong for men is we tell you not to talk about your feelings, or that there's only certain feelings you're allowed to show, and that otherwise, like, suck it up, you got a job to do and keep doing it.
Right.
What I think social media and that plays in, we have a tendency to compare ourselves. And like historically, if you're getting into the back of the science, and when we were being hunt by saber-toothed tigers, it made sense to quickly decide something's good or bad, or it's going to hurt you or it's safe. But we spend so much time comparing that, like, I don't have what they have, and I'm not as pretty as they are. I'm not as smart as they are. I'm not as successful. I'm not as good of an athlete. And our brain does that naturally. You're not going to be able to stop that, but you don't have to act on it, and you don't have to believe it. But nobody teaches us in school or growing up how our brain works, and that it lies to you, and that you have thoughts that may seem like they're true, but they're not true. And no one teaches you how to think about your own thinking. And I guess that's the point of therapy, is to think about your own thinking. But my mom's been asking me to move back to Tennessee. I moved out when I was 18. There's no jobs for mental health people in Tennessee. They don't promote mental health. And when they do, like, they're not paying you enough to live off of. So it's not prioritized in all of our areas anyway. So if you're not living in like a big populous area, good luck finding someone, and good luck finding someone who has an opening, which is why, like, what you're doing and starting at the ground roots and like teaching each other how to talk about it, then you can branch out and try to get some movement in the government to support more resources in the state. But in the meantime, like you said, Cindy's like, Jeremy's my therapist. Probably.
Right. Which
probably
is bad,
who you have access to right now.
His therapist needs a therapist. So that's not a good look at all.
Oh man, it's all love, man.
Before we go any further, again, a lot of raw feelings out there. I know the Sparkman family, I guess, got together and they said they don't want people, doing GoFundMes or anything like that. That they all decided that anything that you want to donate monetarily should go to the cash app of Fred's father, the great boxer Sammy Sparkman. And that's his cash out. And we're just going to put that up every once in a while. But I want to go back to you saying, think about how we think. We don't think about how we think. Did I get that? Did I even get that right?
Yeah.
Will you explain that a little bit? What do you mean by thinking about how to think?
Well, thinking about your thoughts, analyzing your thoughts. So you have automatic thoughts. An event can happen, and your first thought may be like, well, that sucks. Now the whole day's ruined. But logically, the whole day is not ruined if you actually analyze that thought and think like, actually, no, that was a bad moment, but I can go do this instead. But that's not usually how we learn to think. Like, we have a thought and we assume it's true because it's based off of our experiences, and no one tells us like, maybe that's not accurate, or maybe it's not the most helpful thought to act on. Because you can have a thought that's completely true. It's not safe to go outside right now. That may be really true for you, but it may not be the most helpful thing for you to be thinking about. So you can change your thoughts to something else. But that requires practice of actually recognizing your thoughts, because they come so fast and so automatic.
Right. Now, Mr. Dean, I know you and I talked before about kind of our parenting, right? And so we were being each other's therapists, and I told him drop the gem on him that was dropped on me, which is you can't let like kids hurt your feelings. Like, don't get in your feelings, don't take it personal, right? And my response was the same thing of like, I can't help how I feel. Like, that's just how I feel. Maybe they shouldn't do the thing that they're doing to make me upset. How about that? And so the guy says, Yeah, but I feel like you could absolutely take your feelings to the gym, like anything else. And so I don't know. I don't know. I can't be alone in that. Like that was a new thing for me, and it just blew my mind. You know.
Yeah. When people come to therapy, we tell, like, one of the first things that I tell them in the first days is like, I know you're here because you want to feel something different. Like, people don't come because they're happy and everything's going great in their life. But we cannot change your feelings. Your feelings happen. We can change your behaviors. We can help you challenge your thoughts or think of different ways to approach problems, but your feelings are going to come, but you don't have to act on them. And most feelings are temporary. 15 minutes seems to be like when it's the worst. So if you can do something else for 15 minutes, it may still be there after that, but it may not be as strong. And you have a little bit more ability to think about things logically at that point.
Now, I love the idea that you talk about there being a shortage of not of people wanting to be therapists, clinical psychologists like yourself, and I always get the two mixed up. Psychologist versus psychoanalyst or therapist, whatever it is, right? Counselor, anything. And Mr. Youngblood, you being a member of the church there, how often do you just automatically kind of become everybody's therapist?
Wow. A lot. A lot. But, I think sometimes we can put too much pressure on ourselves as community leaders or spiritual advisors but I think the big thing, and I think Miss Reese said it great, was just to tag on to what she was saying, is to take a step back and to see the why we're responding the way that we are, and trying to even kind of look at it from almost a bird's eye perspective, if we can, for a second, and really begin to trace things back. So I think that like it's okay not for us to have all of the answers, because we know who has all the answers, but sometimes we can put a lot of pressure, or you can put pressure on yourself. Really, it's just like Brian said, and like you guys are saying, sometimes it's just a simple phone call. Sometimes it's just simple, man. I just care about you, and I'm just thinking about you. I don't have the words to articulate exactly how to try to fix it and make you feel better, but that's not it. The answer many times can come in just saying, hey, I want to walk with you through that and help you navigate through these things. And and we can be sometimes very micro, being put people in a microwave, where it's like, if you don't have it figured out by now, then I'm done with you. It's over. But that's that ain't friendship. That's that's laziness, man. And if we really call each other friends, and it's like, man, I'm with you to the end. We're gonna get through this. It might take a week, it might take a couple years, but I'm gonna be there and walk with you through that. And if I don't, if I can't help you, maybe I know somebody who's been through that experience, or somebody who's experienced that type of situation that can come alongside and help. But one of the things I'll say this is, we in the Black community have been let down a lot, and that whole thought or that whole concept of saying, man, I don't want to open up. I don't feel like I don't know if I can trust. I don't know if I can, I've been let down so much. And there's this fear of, man, if I open up to you again, or if I try to give you this piece of my life, which is a deep, important piece, then will you let me down? And we need to make sure and try to build and grow and create in these spaces where there's deep rooted friendships, like Gales and Dean, like me and Tanner, me and Brian. I don't have to see y'all every day, but there's a deep, like, hey, hit me up, call me, I'm gonna call you. And you just pick up exactly where you left off at. So but yeah, definitely important to know that we don't necessarily have to have it all figured out to be a help to someone else, for sure.
Right. I can't tell you how many times I fired this guy in my mind, right? I have no power. We are equal parts. But I'm telling you, in my mind, I'm like, that's it. We're done. So, Dean, man, like, I know you don't really go to a barber these days, but
Nah.
Yeah.
talk to me about like where do you go besides me or the missus or whatever, right? Is it No Cap podcast up there? I still see you, Tanner. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
man.
like what do you do for an outlet?
Man, man. I eat them weights. I hit that gym, man.
Oh yeah.
I like people. I know y'all hear people saying it, but I'm being for real. It's been days, man, that I've worked out right after work, get done, get to the house, get frustrated, get stressed off of something, and my mental just wasn't right. And I just get up and left and go and hit it again. Basketball, stuff like that. That's my therapy, man. And believe it or not, man, like coaching, I coach my little boy in football right now. That's a big therapy for me, man, because I love it so much. Because to me, I know where I was at in sports and where I didn't get to, so I feel I need to give that back. So that's just why. And comedy, man, just me being in Sydney. You know what I'm saying? Just it's me. Like me, if I can make you laugh, even if I'm down, if I made you laugh, that make me feel better. You know what I'm saying? And I got another friend that I talk to, man, and they get me through a lot. They know just about as much as Mr. Gales. Get me through a lot. Talk with this person on a daily basis, on a daily basis. So it's stuff like that, man. Like I just can't sit down, and I'm bad at this. I sit down and bottle a lot of stuff up and won't let it out. And Galeson got on me by like, man, you got a frapping. He won't cuss. So, yeah, I know he won't cuss. Me it'd be the other F word, but he won't cuss. You got to frap it. Let this stuff out. I know it sounds like I'm getting on you, Dean, but I love you, man. Get it out. And like I'm like, dude, you like, and then I'll start laughing. It'd be a serious moment. I'll start laughing. I'm like, man, you are the nicest, meanest dude I ever seen in my life. But man, it's stuff like it, man. Maybe go ride, listen to music. I've done that a lot, man. A lot of therapy of mine, and believe it or not, is shoe therapy, because I don't even need one more pair of shoes, and I go buy shoes. That sometimes clear my mental, and I'm being serious when I say that. So everybody different.
Yeah.
But one thing we all can do, you always can pick up that phone. If you can pick up that phone and get on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, anything else, you can pick that phone up and text or call a friend, a lifelong friend, and ask them how they doing. We can do that.
Absolutely.
We can do that.
I see Mr. No Cap up there. Look, man, how many shoes you think Dean has? Just a quick number.
Oh, estimate number how many he has, considering as many as I've seen him wearing on Facebook. Ooh, I'm gonna say he's in the 200 to 300 range, somewhere around in there. I've seen at least between 50 to 100 Air Max.
Hey, Mr. Tanner, on point. I think last week I just did a count, man. I think I was about it like 215, 220, and I them 100 of them Air Max. No bullcrap, 100 Air Max. I love Air Max.
Man, so let me go back to Miss Reese. When you say you can't afford, or they can't afford to pay you, basically, right? Columbia can't afford me, and you hear Dean's got 200 something pairs of shoes. Is that just like, oh, okay.
I mean, it's a systemic level, though. Therapist, master's level or doctor level, they don't get reimbursed at the same rate as doctors, even like physician's assistants or physical therapists who may only have associate's degrees. And their student loans are higher. But insurance doesn't reimburse at the same rate. So then everyone wants to charge you out of pocket, but you can't afford to pay $160 with no insurance coverage every week. And so then you're like, well, then I guess it's not that important. It gets put off because it's difficult to find someone who's affordable. And when you do, they don't have openings because that's what everyone needs.
Is it one
of those? I don't know people who are doctors who can afford $160 a week right now because they're paying student loans.
Right. Well, I know for us in our insurance, it just changed for us right before like Biden got in. And it was this thing of I had to pay so many, I don't know how many thousand I have to pay on my own before the copay stuff starts to kick in. I was like, what? You know what? Let me just turn on TV and just relax. Maybe I'll start walking. I can't afford it. But you know what? Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have a yard sale, and we about to
speaking
pay
of,
all the Megan Reese. Right, have a yard sale with Dean's shoes.
There you go.
First of all, hey, check this out. It's a buddy of mine out here in Missouri. He's from Jamaica, and his brother do like a little charity thing, for underprivileged people in Jamaica. And he was like, dude, he like, man, you got all them shoes, man. You got any old shoes you wouldn't mind donating? Because I'm going to see my brothers and give them to him. And I gave this dude a bag and a half full of shoes. And we ain't talking about just shoes that look like anything. You like, man, you sure you want to get these? Well, I said, yeah, man. I'm like, it's just no use to me hanging on to them when I know they're going for a good cause, because everybody just can't afford to buy shoes like that. Like I'm about retarded for just keep going to do it, but I do it. Hey, Mr. Youngblood, I need prayer for that, please. But
I'm about to say, pay the man, that counts. Pay the man.
But
absolutely fine.
But yeah, man. So I will give them away. But I was thinking about somebody we were talking, dealing with mental, because y'all know how Jimmy Young used to be with us on the court.
Oh, yeah,
and he could drive you crazy half time. And I remember at practice, me and Brian came up with a dance that we used to do behind Jimmy Young back. Brian, you remember that dance, man?
Man, why you bringing that up, yo?
As long as coach knows it's not me.
Man, what? I thought you forgot about that.
No, man, we do that dance all the time. Me and you, we were right. As soon as Jimmy turned that back, me and Brian get to doing the dance. Edwin used to look at us like, man, if y'all get us caught, because y'all already knew what it was, guys. We finna be running. But that was the thing. That was me and Brian. Like, you got to have two people on the team like it was us too.
Man,
absolutely, absolutely. But man, so before we go any further, of course, hold on, that's a dad bad right there. Just wanted to shout out this memorial that's going on. The alumni class of 2003 and Columbia Central football program will honor and remember Fred Sparkman on August 8th, 2021. That's tomorrow at Lindsey Nelson Football Stadium at 5 p.m. That's Central Standard Time. They're asking people to bring purple and gold balloons. Please, helium. Okay, I'm telling you, I know it sounds weird to have to say that, but I saw a couple of duds out there in some other situations. So get you some helium so you can release and fly into the sky. So they'll be doing that on tomorrow. Please go out and support.
That's what's up.
So while I have y'all here too, like, I don't want to get too bogged down, and we're having a really good conversation, but here at Let's Talk with Gales and Deans, we got to keep it a little silly too. All right, so let's get the ticker off. There's that. And we'll do a little thing we like to call tropics. Here we go. All right, this dude's still dancing. There you go.
Oh, my bad. I forgot we were
So
back
don't
on.
worry. All the adults are in the backstage hanging out. Don't worry. It won't be too much of us, I assure you. But Mr. Dean, tropics, aka trending topics. Tropics. What do you got this week?
Well, my trending topic this week, and this is go to something my brother, Mr. Sparkman, would not do, is go out and try to buy a old super team, as my guy, Mr. LeBron James, have done. Mr. Towner, I know he's gonna like to chime in.
Oh no!
Yeah, LeBron then went out and cried wolf and got this daggum team that he think a super team, but they all average age is 35 or 36. What do you think you're gonna do with it?
First of
he
all,
cried wolf again and got his way.
That's ages is crap. I want that to be. Look, I'm gonna step back. You know what? I can't even talk to you right now. I'm gonna leave you by yourself, and you talk to the.
So, Mr. My guy, Mr. Towner, you got to be on my side. Okay. Did this dude not go cry wolf and get this team bought? Okay. Come on now.
All right. Now we're gonna get it straight right off the rip. My favorite player is Russell Westbrook. I like him in the situation that he is in. Is it too much that LeBron has a 40-year-old super team? Come on, man. Like, who else you need out there? Who else you need? You gonna get Dame Lillard? No, I'm sorry. Dame Lillard's too young, so you can't get him right now. Let's just bring somebody out of retirement.
Yeah.
If they stay healthy, they're gonna win the championship. I believe.
Oh yeah,
because,
he about to call Vince Carter next week.
man, I don't. Who else can he call? Who else can he call?
What you think, Mr. Blood?
Man, hey, I mean, he 18 years in, man. He's still going strong, man. I mean, come on, 18 years in the league. You got Melo. If Melo was 25 and he was 25, AD was 25, I might have an issue, man. These guys.
I have an issue still.
You got an issue when they
check this out.
20 years in the league.
Check this out. But you gotta look at the experience, yo. Look at the experience that all of them have. You look at your potential starting lineup: Westbrook, LeBron, Melo, AD, and Dwight Howard. All of them 6'4" and up.
But you think about it, man. This is shooters. This is a make or miss league, man. Westbrook like 28% from three.
I say 18. I say 18.
Get off my man. He out there shooting wild shots like Dean used to in practice. Don't do it.
Hey, you know what? But I will agree with you. I'm not a LeBron fan on the court. I've said it multiple times on the thing. I do like Westbrook. I like his heart. I like what he brings to the game. He ain't gonna back down from nobody. Yeah. I do like that about Westbrook. But like you said, and y'all know ourselves, because we older. I still play ball. You can get a lot of older guys on the team, and we could beat a young team just off of this experience. Experience. So you got a lot of knowledge on that team. I hate to say it, because I do not want to see Bron win the championship. But guess what, buddy? My Warriors will be there.
Oh, no, they won't.
Oh yeah, the Warriors will be there. They'll be there.
Cut.
Yeah,
hold on.
Call the time
over there. See, if we had a count, Mr. Tanner, you take it off and throw it at this point, right?
Yeah.
No. See, I'm dropping y'all too. Y'all went too soft on that dude. Get out of here. Finally. That's right. She's like, wait, whoa. We're not talking about basketball, are we? Look at that face. No. So look, did you see the mental jujitsu that Dean just pulled by talking about how they're too old? And then as the conversation continues, it turns into, hey, old team can beat a young team if they got this. He'll give himself credit because he himself is old, but won't extend that same credit to my guy, LeBron James. So, like, I want you to break that down for me, if you will. Because, again, we can't afford to pay you. But what we would like to do is get your professional opinion as to what just happened right there.
You're always the exception to the rule, and no one else is in your own mind. I think one of the greatest things that people learn in therapy is that you're probably not the exception to the rule. So you're not as special as you think you are. But yeah, everyone else is too old, but I'm good. But no, like, you're probably also too old. Or if in fact experience is important, well then LeBron's going to win again, and we all have to suck it up.
But
I was just happy you guys were saying basketball players I've heard of. I need the old players back. I don't know any of these new people.
Thank you. I'm enjoying this. And look, we are all, let's count them. 1, me, 2, 3, 4 dudes who are pretty up there in age, man. How we not?
Hey, I just joined a new sports team this month, and I'm doing better there than I was when I was in high school. So
Dean said we almost 40, man. That hit my heart, bro.
Hey, bro, look.
He not lying, though, bro.
I was thinking about it the other day, man. I said, man, I'll be 37 this year, man. I am almost 40. That is crazy, bro. That's crazy.
We average 40. If we add D-Wall to this, it'd be an average of 126.
Yeah. Hey, D-Wall was 35 when he was in high school. He ain't gonna never tell the truth.
Bro, I ain't gonna do that.
I always want to tell that joke. No, y'all gotta whoa. It's been a long time. Like me, y'all know me in high school. I had 0 jokes. Oh, I got all the jokes now. I've been thinking about this for about a couple of decades.
Yeah, he came out of his shell, Brian. He came out of his shell now.
I'm lying. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because he was quiet.
What do you call it, Brian? A cap?
He was. Yeah, he capped it for real.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Mr. Tanner, I'm gonna throw this out here, man. You want to get a special guest on your show to talk about this? Oh, you already know, me and Mr. Youngblood. We can have a good debate. Edwin has always been a great debater. He don't never get upset, but he will debate to the end. We need him on there for that.
Yes, he will. Don't let him fool you. Think he don't get upset. I remember when he got upset on that bus coming back from that basketball game.
Oh yeah,
I remember who he said on and everything.
Hold on. Let me adjust. Okay, story time. Go.
No. I'm not gonna put his name out there like that. I'm not gonna put his name out there. But at that time, that was the wilder side of Edwin, and he said some things that he would never probably say ever again in his life.
I remember that. I remember that.
I know
Woo!
Hey, I'm gonna tell you
I was hot that day, man. I ain't gonna lie. I was pretty hot.
The most frustrating thing that Edwin used to do that used to make me mad, and it wasn't a lot. We would play NBA Live, okay? We would play NBA Live. Edwin would take the daggum center and run around the court, do this the whole game. And I promise you, you could have Reggie Miller. You was not hitting a shot on there. That was so frustrated. He would do it the whole game, and I get mad. Like, he know I get mad. I drop the control. I leave. I wouldn't even talk to him or Donnie nobody the rest of the day. I just leave him, drive all the way back to Columbia. We always sprang here. He did it all the time, and we never could figure out how to beat that.
Yeah,
you
man,
never could figure out. He would like take Yao Ming and just do this all over the court.
I figured it out, man. You ain't never have to block a shot. You just had the hard contest. You just need a good. You just need a hard contest. That's all you need. You don't need to block it. You got hard contest.
Hey, real talk. I found out of one game in my entire life of playing basketball. It was the one game, the very first time I met Edwin. Playing against him in Riverside basketball, and my coach said he left-handed. Don't reach for it. And I reached the entire game and found out. The only game I ever found out in my entire life. I hated him for weeks, fam.
Hey, y'all, I ain't had no right hand. I ain't had right hand at all. They couldn't figure it out, though. They couldn't figure it out. I ain't have a right hand at all.
But that's the thing, especially
he's going the wrong way. What's going on?
He kept doing it. He kept going that way, and I kept reaching. Hey, you still slide your foot when you go up too, don't you?
Hey, man, I'm sliding so, man. I'm just trying to get. I'm trying to tap backboard, man. I'm just trying to tap backboard now.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, man. And we since we on mental stuff. I remember it was y'all guys' senior year. It was my sophomore, me and Miss Gill sophomore, and I mean we was on the road, man. We started the average height of the starting lineup. I think the tallest person might have been Donnie, 6'2.5". Yeah, me and Brian playing the 4 and the 5. But Brian was on a shooting tear that year. Let me tell y'all, this dude, he had to be 40% from 3-point. If not, I mean, this dude was on a tear, and we were playing Marshall County, and Marshall County was good. You know, Marshall County, that was a good basketball team, and we was beating them. And I never forget this, Brian. I hate to say it, man. I never forget. Brian went up for that 3-point shot and hit and came down, and that's when he had tore his ACL, and that did something to the mental of that team, losing Brian for that game and just the rest of the season, man, because we had to make up a lot of slack for that. So if you didn't ever think you was an important part of that team, brother, let me tell you, when we lost you that year, that hurt. I think we could have made a good run. I ain't gonna say we would have made a state championship run, but we would have made a run if we had still had you there. That took the wind out of all of us. I can still remember, like now to this day, when I seen him down and holding his knee, I'm like, damn, like Brian down. But in my mind, I'm still thinking that, you know, might have been good. But when they took him off in an ambulance, I'm like, this ain't good. So that messed up the mental mindset of the basketball team. But I don't know if anybody ever told you, it was you and Edwin was our important pieces to that team. And when you went down, we lost a heartbeat. So you was important to that team, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I echo that, bro. I echo that, man. You were deeply missed on that on the rest of that ride. But it was always good to see you on that bench, man, supporting me and supporting you. You know, you never was, you know, I know you were down. I know you were out, man, but you know, you put on a face to say, hey, you know, I'm still going to support you through that. But yeah, you definitely. I knew we were hitting a stride. I knew we was hitting a stride too, because the game before that, I think we beat a team and you took a charge.
Yeah, we beat BGA.
I said, this dude took a charge.
Hey, bro,
I don't take charges.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like we was on a run, man. Like we was on a run that year, dude. Like and the thing about it, man, and I was like, dang, man, we lost Brian before the Central game. Yeah. You know, because that happened. I think that happened like a month or two before we played them. And I'm not gonna say the outcome of that game, but it would, you know, just you lost one of your brothers, man, and it hurt. But he was still there throwing jokes at practice and on that bench throwing jokes. Talk about, look at Jimmy, man. He ever go wearing the socks, you know, stuff like that. So, hey, man, It's stuff like that I think about, man. Brian, one of the funniest dudes on the team them 4 years, man. You talk about if you remember the Astro van rise to Summer League basketball and the joke cracking. Brian was the ringleader of the joke cracking. He was started, and he'd get everybody else started. I think he always would start on D-Walk too. He would always start on D-Walk, and that got us all going.
Had to go.
But man, I'm telling you, it's moments like that. It's moments like that, man, that you cherish, that you remember, that I'll never forget. So, I appreciate that. I mean, I tell it to my boys now. They be like, man, who is Brian Tanner? Who is Edwin Youngblood? I'm like, you don't know him, but just know they got a special place in my heart, along with Mr. Gales.
Something serious, man. So, getting back to the mental health thing, one thing I remember about, that time, not only your boy Tanner with that beautiful, sweet step back, right? But Edwin Youngblood's response to people clowning, right? This famous phrase, like, hey, you might be right. It's like, what? I didn't know you could do that. Like, that blew my mind as a high school kid. People are like, Edwin, man, this old XYZ and old blah, blah, blah. And you might be right. And I just killed it. I was like, interesting. You just lean into it. I got it.
Man.
Hey man, you got to figure it out, man. Listen,
absolutely.
I ain't got time to be going back and forth, man. I got to get to class, man. You trying to take jokes, man. I got to get this. I got to get a test, man. I got to get a good grade on this test, man.
Every time, man. Every time it worked, and you just shut up after he said it. You can say
nothing you could do.
You wanted to about it, and he just like, you might be right, and he just leave.
Right.
Just leave, man. You just leave. Get up out of there.
That was one of my best jokes.
Good time.
Yeah. Right. Well, getting back to Miss Reese, little things like that. What are you saying to especially the high schoolers, man? Because they are, I'm not gonna say out of control, but the social media thing is a real thing. I don't know if any of y'all have seen this documentary, The Social Dilemma on Netflix. If you have children, if you plan to have children, if you're gonna walk past a child, I suggest you watch this thing. They're comparing social media, the response, the cerebral response to social media as akin to drugs.
Can you get my charger?
So what are some things that like little tidbits like Mr. Youngblood's and hey, you might be right, and just let it what about me? Like people who not built like that,
it's not just children though, because it affects us that way too. You see how many the instant gratification of I gotta like, but the person I wanted to like it didn't like it, so I guess it wasn't good enough. Now I gotta go do something better.
Right.
I mean, I think that's a great one. You choose how you respond in the situation. If the other person gets amped up, doesn't mean you have to get amped up. And so just choosing your behaviors. You can't choose your feelings. We already said that. And I think I was talking to you guys beforehand. Like, I limit what I take in. I do not look at Facebook before I go into work in the morning. I will end up being angry when I get to work in the morning. I do not watch the news. If I want to know the news, I will read the news, because the screaming and the soliciting that comes on our local news anyway, I don't need that in my life. And I think that's what's made the last year so hard. Nothing new has happened. We've just been at home to watch it. And so even the people who knew it happened, had this removal from it. And it's not happening to me, or it's not happening right now. So it could be worse. And then now you're at home all day and it's on the news all day. So you can control what you take in. You don't have to take everything in. And if it's not healthy for you, you can control who's on your feed. Like who are you fighting against on Facebook? And who had the worst day? Like the winner of that battle still loses. Like it's not a competition. And so I think that's the biggest thing, and the biggest thing to get kids to realize, because again, naturally your brain's going to try to categorize things. You don't have to believe everything your brain tells you.
Ooh, that's interesting. You don't have to believe everything your brain tells you.
I see what Mr. Liggins said. I haven't watched the news in years.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
That's a good tactic.
I stopped watching the news when I lived in Chicago, because I was like, I wouldn't leave my house if I did.
Right.
It just makes it look super scary, but it wasn't super scary when I was there and living in it.
Absolutely. So one of those things, so we have of course the number down there, and I'm sure people are aware of what's happening there in Columbia, Tennessee, our hometown. So we're talking to clinical psychologist Megan Reese, Pastor Edwin Youngblood, and one of the key hosts, key components of No Cap Podcast, Mr. Tanner. So, what are some things that you all have picked up in your experiences? You know, because a lot of us are, you know, we are fathers here. You know, we're daughters and all this sort of thing. What are some things you picked up? I'll start with you, Mr. Tanner.
What do you mean, as in this?
As in just how to kind of deflect, right? Someone is coming at you. How do you handle it? It can't just be, you know, throwing hands all the time,
Yeah.
right? Or holding it
Okay,
in and taking it out on the kids. Like, what are some like things that you use or you've seen work in people around you?
For me, I'm kind of on the same note, and I have been for the past couple of years. Kind of like Dean, I started going to the gym because at one point in time I got complacent and got lazy, you know, and had to have a rude awakening to just start, you know, getting back healthy again. Because for me, I don't play basketball anymore. I just can't afford that setback financially or mentally or physically.
Yeah.
So with me, and I never lifted weights in school ever. All of y'all can attest to that. I never lifted weights in school. I hated it, but it's just something I picked up through coworkers. So I started working out, and that's my stress reliever. Now, as far as it goes with social media and so to speak, that's a lot of that's not real. People are living out lives that they don't have of their own. And it's easier to draw negativity than to draw positivity. So if you can address someone else's problems and deflect off of you, a lot of people do that. And it's not right at all. And a lot of these kids today, they feed off of that. You know, a lot of these kids today, it'd be hard for them to make it in the world that we grew up in, when we had to actually pick up the telephone. We had a little black book with everybody's phone number in it, and you picked up the telephone to call somebody. You had to ride your bike over to somebody else's house to see them. A lot of kids couldn't make it. It's hard for them to do that. They need that attention in some ways. And a lot of people feed off of that intention. A lot of people feed off the negativity more than feeding off the fact of, hey, my friend just got a house, or hey, my friend just had their first kid. They feed off the negativity of seeing somebody doing something and getting hurt. And it's sad that that's the world that we live in nowadays, but it really is. And we all hope that it gets better, because all of us have kids, you know, that's growing up in it, and we're scared, literally scared for them growing up in the world nowadays than it was when we grew up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think there, Pastor?
Yeah, I think you guys are hitting the nail on the head here. Identity is huge. You know, I think it's important for us to know like who we are, you know, outside of what we do. I think there has been just a loss of value, a loss of dignity, of significance, and that has to be restored. And it's great when it's instilled at an early age and at a young age, just how important and valuable that we are. Like our differences. I think we live in this society. I think somebody mentioned it earlier of comparison, and you know, it talks about like comparison is a thief of joy. When we compare ourselves to other people, that doesn't bring out our best. You know, because we are unique. We are, you know, fearfully, wonderfully made. We all have our differences, and we have to, you know, try to come to a place of understanding that your uniqueness is what makes you you. You know, your differences is actually a beautiful thing. We don't have to necessarily conform to look like a certain image that we might see on a computer screen or on a TV screen or anything like that, but that we have just an inherited value that doesn't have to be your value doesn't have to come out of, you know, what you do for a living or what relationships you have here or how much money you make and things like that. But understanding that just at your ground root that you have value and significance. I think that's big, and to kind of restore those dignities. Even speaking from, you know, our community, many times we'll take our line back to 1619, but it starts even before then. You know, like we have a spirituality about ourselves, you think about even coming out of slavery, out of Jim Crow, out of civil rights, and God prevailed through those things, even when it was trying to be oppressed, or the Bible and the word was trying to be manipulated. There was, Black people and African Americans that was like, no, that's not accurate. That's not true. I can actually divide this white man's Christianity between that is distorted and deceptive, and say, okay, no, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. There is actually a God, there's a king, there's a creator that made me in his image, and I have value, even when you're trying to distort that. So it shows the power of God, even in the midst of pain, persecution, affliction, all of those type of distresses. And I think restoring those things is important. And I think we're at a pivotal stage here of this, when we're talking about mental health, when we're talking about, the social woes, like how, and even the empowerment and the excellence that's coming, as we're seeing over this last year. It's like we have an opportunity here to really, come alongside each other, encourage each other, and to really grab truth. I think truth, the word talks about, y'all gonna get me preaching over here if I ain't already.
Go ahead on, bro.
Go ahead, change the whole configuration. Yeah.
The word talks about, man, the truth will set you free. It hurts, but it's freedom on the other side of that. So when we come to the realization of understanding truth and understanding value and significance, and we have to, be intentional about instilling that and saying, yeah, you might not be the greatest athlete, but you can be more than an athlete. You might not be the greatest dancer or the greatest musician or artist, but there are so many other gifts that you do have. Don't limit yourself or try to box yourself in to these just couple of lanes here, when there's a full horizon that you can walk in. So I think identity, and with that comes like a renewal of the mind, man. Like our mind is just like, no, I'm not, what that negativity that Brian was talking about. That's not who I am. I know who I am. Therefore, your voice is not loud anymore. You can speak to me, but I don't have to hear what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
We got IFBB Pro.
There he is.
Says, my guys, I'm coaching at a show, but want to do my love. Or want to do my love. Yeah, no, I said it right. But
Yeah,
over
you
here
said
second
it
guessing
right.
myself. I looked at you in them daggone headphones with them ears sticking up, Dean.
Hey, check
That's
this
what
out,
threw me
man.
off right there.
Look. Y'all can make fun of my headphones, but I couldn't find my mine. And then my white ones, my little son, the smallest prince of the kingdom, decided to take the little padding off of his, so they almost hurt my ears. So right before the show started, the only one I could find was my daughter's. So I grabbed them, put them on, and if you know me, this is a Sydney thing to do. So the show must go on.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mr. Tanner, like, I'm not sure how to pin the comments, Tanner. This is sorry, not Tanner, Tame. So if you want to come on and say something, just scroll on up to the top, man. I know this is hard for people like you and Duke and Black, all of them, man. I know y'all are really close. My wife was a classmate. Got me an older woman, so she graduated with y'all. So one thing again, I want to remind people of a couple of things. Get that comment out the way. Sorry, I'm kind of producing and doing all the things, right? The
Doing a good
family
job,
of
bro.
appreciate it. So we have, of course, Sammy Sparkman, great boxer, father of Fred Sparkman. He and the family got together and decided that what they want to do instead of GoFundMe's and things like that, it's just, donate something to his cash out there. There's his name there. Make sure, don't forget the $, Sammy Sparkman. It's right there. And of course, Columbia Central. Actually, let me just exit you all out, including myself. Columbia Central, if I can get to it. There we go. So what they're doing is that they have a little a memorial going on. This is the poster for it, and I don't want to leave that out. We'll put the ticker back up. Boom. That'll be tomorrow, 5 p.m. They are asking for people to bring by purple and gold balloons. Please don't forget your helium. Do not forget your helium. All right. So they're gonna have they're gonna make sure to, honor him there at the field that he terrorized so many opponents. Oh, I want to shout. I'm not gonna say his name, but he knows who he is. He watches the show. That gummy man. I know you remember Fred Sparkman. Lord have mercy. He still wakes up with headaches thinking about that one time. But yeah, man. So before I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go. Thank you very much, Mr. Tanner, for joining us. We still haven't get it. Well, not you, Dean. That gummy. Don't you go anywhere. And y'all hang out in the back for a minute.
Appreciate them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm about to say, man, don't go anywhere. Don't leave me. Oh yeah, appreciate it. No Cap Podcast. Check that out. Oh, Tanner, you know when that's coming up? Coming up?
Yeah, we working out some logistics, getting some stuff together, man, and we will be back very soon. For right now, we're just dropping lives to stimulate the fan base, but we will be back very soon, dropping some serious dope content. I appreciate y'all for watching, man.
Yeah.
No problem. They do not pull punches there. So first of all, it was hilarious. I was trying to figure out the no cap thing. I'm like, he calls it no cap, but he's wearing the cap. Baby, I don't get it. Like my kids are laughing. And so I literally, they would tell me, bro, they would not tell me. I had to Google what that meant. So yeah, so for anyone else who's like me, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know. I'm not afraid of frapping up. Right? That means no lies.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
That's the world we're in. So yeah, so they don't pull punches, not for the faint of heart, mature content. But appreciate you for joining us, man.
No problem. I appreciate it. Love y'all, brothers. Love y'all.
Love you too, man.
All love, bro.
Love you guys. Love you all.
Thank all of y'all for being on the show, man.
Yeah. Hold on, Rich. Don't leave yet. So, and then look, Mr. Youngblood. Again, thank you for joining us. I can't tell you how valuable that word is, right?
Yeah.
And I love the idea that even if you're not, a true believer or whatever you classify yourself as, there's some wisdom into it. I had, we couldn't really talk about it when I was coaching in high school, right? Here in New Mexico. But what we could do is kind of talk around it. It's weird rules, right? Even that is another tool, right, of the enemy. But what I try to tell them, like, hey, you can get some out of the Lion King, like look for the wisdom in everything, right? Extract the wisdom, leave the pain behind. So I really appreciate that, man. Absolutely. Hang out in the back for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Miss Reese, of course, your expertise are much needed. Just you talking about how we don't have enough people willing to pay professionals like yourself to kind of incentivize them to move in. I'd be very interested in speaking with you later on down the road here about some possible fixes to that. So thank you for joining
all
us.
Kinds of ideas for saving the world. No one wants to hear them.
Oh no. We will listen. You just hang out in the back. Don't worry. All right, thank you. So, Mr. Dean, we're gonna wrap up the show with our final thing. Mr. Rich was on. Tony Chulo Rich. But we'll have to catch him on the next show. So let's just, I guess, go ahead and get into it. And we have to explain to some of our newer viewers what this is, but I apologize in advance. Look, we're working on it, but here it is. Cows. Challenge of the week. I'm gonna work on that, I swear. Challenge of the week. Oh, yes, and the T is very silent, okay? Challenge of the week,
very, very
aka
silent.
Cows. What's the challenge of the week this week, Mr. Dean?
Man, my challenge of the week, I do the physical, the working out part, and in honor of my brother, all of our brothers, Mr. Fred Sparkman, man, I want you to do one day out of the week, do 30 minutes of workout, 30 minutes of hard workout. This is for everybody, but for all the people who grew up with us and you knew Fred, you knew what he was about, you knew everything he did was at the top level. So I want you to take a day, any day from tomorrow through next Saturday, and do 30 minutes of workout in honor of our fallen brother. That's my challenge of the week.
Appreciate that. I'm gonna mute you before you burp or something. You okay, man? You okay? Need a hug or something, man? Yeah, all right. yeah, that's why I muted you right there. Go ahead, let it out. It's all good. It's all good, brother. Yeah. So Mr. Dean usually handles the physical part of the challenge of the week. I try to do more of the mental stuff. Meditation. The idea of I can't really talk or speak to what was going through Fred's mind or anybody who's in that. But that stat, and that is a real stat there, Miss Reese. Look, you had me nervous, so I looked it up. CDC, right? When you talk about near 11 people commit suicide per minute. We've been on this show for an hour and 22 minutes, right? That's something significant, right? So one thing that I know that when I look at a person like Fred Sparkman, especially athletes, right? Once the cleats or the whatever gets hung up, once you feel like you're starting to get past your prime or whatever, I had this situation when I was at Vanderbilt. I had a small injury. They said that they were going to redshirt me, and for whatever reason, that just set something off. I didn't know what to call it. I was lying to my coaches and teammates. I go to practice and fake my way through it, and then I'll be back at home, crawl on some covers, and repeat the lie the next day until they kicked me all the way out, right? Because I didn't know what to call depression. And then I get home, and people's like, yeah, out there with them girls and drinking and smoking, see, that's what happens. Like, not asking me, hey, everything okay? What happened? Which I had people who do that, thank the Lord. But that's a real thing that happened. I'm 18, 19 years old at the time. At the time, I'm thinking I've done everything I'm supposed to do, so I started self-medicating. And then I got to a point where once, family and friends that are close to you and you believe what they're saying start telling you about yourself, you have to listen. And I was very fortunate to be able to, reach out to someone. Shout out to Sadiq Ziad. I just told him, man, listen, I got rid of my car, most of my clothes and belongings. I just have to get out of this space. I'm not sure where this is headed, but I just need to get out and think for a little bit. And he provided that spot. So I moved to Georgia. And I got back into my fasting and meditating and reading my Bible, and really kind of revamping myself. And then I made all these new goals, these new plans. So for me, changing my target from football, NFL career, whatever, to, I'm going to Australia, which, of course, we all know man plans and God laughs. Because I really had a heart-to-heart with myself of what is it that I actually want? And I wanted to be married, and I want to have kids, and I wanted to be in a career that meant something to me, right? And so he turned me 180 degrees around, and I end up in New Mexico marrying my high school sweetheart. And, we have 4 beautiful children now. And the challenges that come with that, it all goes back to like this self-reflection, or I'm trying to stay in my own experience. For me, it was about looking at me and saying, what am I not doing? Because I can't control all the other stuff. But what am I not doing in order to improve myself and my environment? And it started with, like Miss Reese was talking about, learning how to just let the thoughts come in and then let them go by. Organize them, put them where they're supposed to go, but don't harp on them and beat yourself up about things. So in honor of Fred Sparkman, I would like for everyone to at least try 30 seconds, because he terrorized us on the field as number 30. You can believe that. So let's give at least 30 seconds of just some reflection. Do a self-check, self-care. All those things are important, because just like that plane ride, you hit that turbulence, you're going down, whatever it is, those oxygen masks come down. You have to put your mask on first before you try to help somebody else. Because what will happen is you will just pass out, and then you're no good to anybody. So this is something I really want us to do. Like, we got to work on our physical body, like Dean talked about, what we put in our body, what we put into our minds, what we're exposing ourselves to. And absolutely need to be doing some sort of meditation. So that's my challenge of the week. Mr. Dean, as usual, last word.
Yeah. Last word, man, you know, and this gonna hit home. Man, love yourself and love your people. Check on your people. I don't care if it's been 10, 15, 20 years and y'all had a falling out about something small. Call and make amends. Call and check on somebody. If you see somebody you talk to on a daily basis, they ain't acting right, they ain't acting like they self, and you could tell they want to talk, but they don't want to come out and talk to you, sit down and talk with them. You know, it don't take much. Sit down and talk to them. And usually people will come out. We got to do that. And if you got anything going on mentally, anything, don't be scared to tell somebody about it. We have got to stop worried about people judging us about what we're going through or what we got going on. Me, myself, I go through stuff on a daily basis. I'm going through something right now, but I'm not ashamed of it because I'm going to get through this. I've always been a competitor, and I'm going to stay a competitor. So I'm going to beat it, what I'm going through. Ain't nothing physical. It's mental stuff, but I'm going to beat it, you know, because it's one person that's powerful in the world that's got my back, and that's the man upstairs. And y'all can believe that. So get out and talk to your people. Check on your people. Love your people. Get out and laugh. If you're going through something, talk to somebody close. You need a laugh, call somebody, get a laugh. Like I said, if we could pick up that phone and get on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, social media sites, posting pictures and things, you can get up and pick that phone up and text someone that you're close to, text a loved one, or pick up the phone and call someone and just talk. And that's what I want everybody to do, you know. And to the Sparkman family, I send my condolences and my love to you guys, to my town, Columbia, Tennessee. Same way, I know we hurting. I'm not there. I live in Missouri now, but Columbia's still at heart. I know the town is hurting right now, but together we're gonna get through this. To my fallen brother that has left us and went home with God, Fred, we love you, man. We love you. You don't know how much of impact that you not only made on the field, but that you made in people in that town. You will be truly missed, my brother. You will be truly missed, but we'll never let your name go down. We will long live your name. Hashtag number 30, hashtag long live Fred. Peace and love to my people. Stay safe. Love y'all.